Welcome to week 5 of the waking state. And, as I give a little recap for where we've been and where we're going to be today, essentially this course is bringing us through different concepts that are actually very traditional to the practice of traditional Chinese medicine as a way of understanding what type of systems in our body are correlated to the season of spring, different energetics that may be helpful for us to deepen our sense of connection and relationship to the season that we're in right now. So the first 2 practices were essentially about orienting ourselves to the present moment through the practices of grounding and centering. And then from there, we really started to explore different concepts, also, yes, more correlated to traditional Chinese medicine in terms of systems of our body that are connected to the season of spring. And so we explored the lymphatic, the circulatory system. And today we're going to move from big kind of systems of the body, that have pieces and parts that move through the whole self into a specific organ that is also correlated with supporting cleansing and detoxification processes. Energetically, I think the whole reason why we really look at systems and organs that support cleansing during the spring is, tied to the fact that we're very still in the winter and a little bit less, perhaps moving less, dreaming, this sort of taking stock, taking in, nourishing foods is kind of the energy of the winter. And now we're in this time when we're kind of, working with those dreams that we accrued in the winter and creating space and movement so that we can support ourselves to manifest. It's all energetic and more conceptual, but I find it's helpful, which is why I want to share it. So again, today's practice, we're moving into the liver. And if you watched that 3-minute video I shared in the email, that really is, it can be really helpful to actually see what we may be talking about in these kinds of practices. So liver is pretty big, and it has a really key function in our ability to eliminate and detoxify. Hello. So that's the organ that we're going to be working with today. And today we're actually going to move the type of practice that we'll be doing more from kind of the more like vinyasa type practices into the yin style. So I know that you all have experience with yin. And we're going to be working with postures that are correlated to the meridian or energy lines in traditional Chinese medicine that kind of stimulate and work with the liver, as well as its kind of accompanying small like sister organ, the gallbladder. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. And props again that you'll be needing, or you may not actually need them, but you may find them helpful depending on what's going on in your body, is a blanket to sit on, a block maybe as a prop for your head in different forward folds, and a strap as we're going to be moving, and it may be helpful as an arm extender. So let's begin. You can press play on your playlist if you're using that, and go ahead and cross your right shin in front of your left shin. And as you cross your right shin in front of your left shin, see that your ankles are more or less right underneath each knee. So vertically, the knees are over the ankles. Okay, let's take a moment, and as you close your eyes, bring your awareness downward towards your sitting bones. And feel that each sitting bone can anchor into the earth. Now you may notice that one sitting bone is perhaps more connected or feels more settled than the other. And if that's your experience, play with rocking from side to side, maybe leaning towards that sitting bone that feels less grounded or connected to the floor. And taking a few breaths towards that sitting bone, as if the breath could spread and release that bone. And then you may rock side to side, establishing more equanimity through both sides of your pelvis. And once you feel more or less that those sitting bones are equally anchored, start to walk your palms forward and come to a gentle forward fold. So in a yin style practice, it is totally fine to round the spine. And it's also considered beneficial to go about 60% of your full capacity in any shape. So if you're someone who has a lot of range of flexibility, see if you can back off a little bit and still find sensation in the shape. And work with that angle of your spine as you start to gently fold, bending your elbows. Noticing that the sides of the legs all the way down to the outer feet are connected with the earth. And feeling as your palms are softly pressing into the floor, as well as the outer edges of your legs and the base of your hips. As those parts of you settle deeper into the floor, there's a sense of elongation through the column of the spine as it folds over your legs. So the liver is an organ that works very hard for us. It's constantly working to filter out what we intake, to process what we take in. And so we'll utilize this practice this morning as a way to soften the body, to soften the mind space, and just to create the conditions for a cooling effect inside. Noticing that we're moving into that part of the season where the temperature starts to shift. You're feeling the energy shift more towards a summertime temperature, heat of the sun. So depending on your constitution, this may perhaps aggravate what's considered to be energy stored within the liver. So more angry emotions, agitation. So feel as a counter to that, a sense of cool balance in the shapes that we'll be practicing today. Take one more full breath in and out. And slowly walk your palms back in towards your shins, lifting up the spine, making the transitions very slow. As you come to an upright spine, begin to lift your right leg and come into a twisted position, placing the right foot on the floor towards the outer edge of your left knee. And again, noticing that we always start with anchoring. As you close your eyes, feel that both sitting bones are equally pressing into the floor, even your right one. And as you press down and firm the outer edge of your left foot into the floor, feel that the crown of your head can extend upward, tracking the verticality of your spine. And very languidly beginning to move into the twist. You can wrap your left arm around the right leg. And ever so gently press your right fingertips or the palm on the floor behind you. If you can't quite reach the floor with your right palm, you may find it helpful to place that palm on a block. Perhaps gently rocking your body from side to side. And exploring the shape, perhaps keeping your eyes closed. And feeling a subtle lift upward of your sternum. Beginning to drop your awareness into the space of the liver, visualizing it at the center of your torso on the right side. And feeling as the front of your torso lifts up, that there's space being created for that organ as you gently wring it out. Knowing that yin postures are long held postures. So keeping the shape sustainable for you so that you can be in it comfortably. Making sure that your breath stays steady. Perhaps visualizing that the breath could travel in through your nostrils and down to expand the liver. From the liver, energy rises back up and out visually in your mind. We're bringing out, but we're also creating space. Take 3 more breaths here, scanning your body for softness, for ease. And after your third exhale, slowly unwind again, taking your time in the transition. And release, and let's come into the other side, crossing your left shin in front of your right, stacking your ankles beneath each knee. And again, taking a moment to feel the uprightness of your spine. You may even take a moment to place a palm on the space of your liver. So streaming across the center torso, more full on the right side. So that as you start to fold, you maintain the spaciousness in this part of your body. Just folding as much as you can, keeping that length. And then the minute you start to feel your spine contract and this part of your body round in, take an inch back, refine the length, and then you can place both palms on the floor in front of you. Reminding yourself of the dimensionality of the liver that we saw in that very short video. Noticing that there's a backward hollowness that the liver falls into. So we can visualize and feel the breath moving not just towards the front of the liver, but also into the back of the liver. Tracing with our mind's eye the whole mass of the liver. And breathing into its full space, front, back, sides, top, bottom. And visualizing a cool breath moving in and out. A lot of our practices thus far have been challenging and working with our capacity for strength. And there's a balance to be had so that we don't press ourselves enough that we wind up feeling depleted. So we can think of this practice as a rejuvenative practice in the middle of the season, so that we have that sense of resiliency for moving forward. Noticing any emotional reactions or feelings that start to rise throughout this practice. And perhaps considering that they may be rising from the liver in order to be filtered, just as any other kind of functionality of the liver, any other aspect of our body that it filters, that it supports us to cleanse. That we can also consider that may be possible for our emotional well being as well. For example, presenting anger so that we may support our body to move through the anger. And taking 3 more rounds of breath here. After that third breath, beginning to walk your palms back towards your shins, slowly raising your spine back up to neutral. Always giving yourself that moment in between shapes to notice. And as you're ready, we'll move into the twist on the other side, crossing your left leg over the right and placing the sole of the left foot onto the floor outside your right knee. Again, taking that moment to feel the length of your spine, the groundedness of your feet. As you make your way into the twist, wrapping your forearm or your hand towards the outer left thigh, and placing your left palm on the floor behind you or on a block. Scan your body for any sense of pulling or kind of forcing yourself into the shape, and see if you can ease up on that energy. So that there's a suppleness to the shape. Noticing the spaciousness on the right side of your torso. Keeping the openness for your liver as you twist towards the left. As you connect to your emotions and you notice waves of different feelings moving in and out, may be helpful to support the more cooling inner state. To breathe in and out of your mouth like you are inhaling through a straw and exhaling out. This is considered a cooling breath. Just whenever you feel you need to, if you get extra heated or any heated feelings or emotions. Just breathing in through that small O shape that you can make with your mouth. Again, like you are inhaling through a straw. Visualizing coolness moving through your body. And when you're ready, you can move back to a natural breath. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath here. And after your third exhale, slowly release, and slowly being the key word. Coming back to neutral, taking a moment. And then from here, go ahead and extend your legs out. Keeping your left leg where it is, cross your right knee over the left knee. Your left foot is extended out in front of you, and the right knee is crossed up and over the left. And the right knee foot is just out to the left side. Okay. Now, while you're here in this shape, relax your feet. And if you notice that you're very rounded off to the spine, you can sit on a blanket on the edge of the blanket to help lift up through the lower back. So making sure that your feet are relaxed here. And as you're ready, beginning to fold over your legs. Now, you may find it helpful. I find it quite helpful here if you have the range to bring your rolled up blanket onto the left shin, which you may be able to rest your forehead on if you stack it enough to meet your head, but you may not get there, and that's okay. Remember, in this practice, we're working with about 60% of our full capacity. And also with yin postures, they're really designed so that you don't actually have to put in a lot of effort in order to evoke the sensation. So noticing, especially in this shape, that you don't have to do so much in order to feel something happening. Noticing that sometimes when we do too much, where we're trying to do too much, more than our capacity allows for, we can often feel depleted and try to compensate with things that stress the liver. For example, lots of coffee or maybe even alcohol at night to wind down if we're really wound up throughout the day. So actually noticing that doing less in our movements, but also in our daily choices, can support the liver. So that we're doing what we're capable of and we're getting support where it's needed. In Chinese medicine, an emotion or a feeling that is considered to be an antidote for an imbalanced liver, all the angry agitation feelings we could have when it's overstimulated, is the energy of forgiveness. So that can look like self-forgiveness for pushing ourselves, or forgiving others for not being able to meet us where we hope for them to be. Feeling again that cool breath. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath here. And again, as you come out, making sure that your movements are slow and supportive. And moving yourself onto your back and keeping your straps handy alongside you. You may need it. As you come over onto the ground, keep your feet on the floor. You can place your hands on your mid-torso, cupping the slope of the ribs. And breathe into that mid-torso space. Now slowly bring your right ankle over the top of your left knee. And as you lift your legs, either interlace your fingers around the front of your left shin or behind your left thigh, whichever feels most comfortable for you. We'll figure 4 pose. And again, in these yin shapes, we want to make sure that we're not holding unnecessary tension. So you can relax actually your left foot here, feel it totally soften. And scan the way that your fingers are interlaced and ensure that they're not overly gripping, that they're woven softly. Noticing your mid back release into your mat, especially on the right side. So there is a concept in somatic movement and other traditional therapies, like traditional Chinese medicine, but also in somatic movement, that when an organ is taxed, it can pull on the muscles or the tendons that are surrounding that organ to create tension. So seeing if visualizing the liver softening and releasing down into the back can also radiate into a feeling that the muscles running down your right back can also release. And feeling here the medicinal qualities of stillness and simplicity. And let's take 3 more rounds of breath here. And after your third breath, release your left foot back onto the floor. And as you stretch your left leg out, draw your right knee in towards your chest. And let that left leg become very loose. The foot can splay out to the side. And here's where you may want your strap to loop around the ball of your right foot. And exhale, stretch the right leg up towards the sky. And keeping your left leg relaxed, your left foot splayed out to the left. See if you can bring the strap in, your both sides of the strap into your left palm and begin that slow and steady journey of the right leg over to the left, coming into a spinal twist. Now you may find that when you bring the right foot over to the left, you may not need the strap and you're perhaps able to hold the outer right foot with your left hand. If that's true, you can let the strap kind of hang off and just hold your foot. But if you need the strap, there it is. You can use it. Now, either extend your right arm out to the right or bring your right palm on the top right side of your rib cage. And taking a moment to visualize the dimensionality of your liver, the way that it stands on its smaller side from the left side all the way over to a big wash on the right. And feel as you inhale that the breath can actually travel into that left side of your liver, feeling that small side swell up. And as you exhale, the full right side releases down towards the floor through your back. So there's a sense of inflation and fullness on that smaller left side of your liver as you inhale. And exhale, a sense of releasing down through your back, through the right side as you exhale. Just waving the breath through the left side on the inhale and out the right side as you exhale. And noticing how that inner movement of breath affects the more outer twisted shape. Again, there's a more languid quality to this posture. In a way, feeling yourself fall over and out. Let's spend 3 more rounds of breath here. And after your third breath, go ahead and lift your leg up. And exhale, extend that right leg out and take a moment in Shavasana, bringing your arms by your side, noticing the feeling through the right side of the body as compared to your left. And just gauging for things like temperature and heaviness, or any other qualities you may take note of from one side compared to the other. And then take a big breath in and out. Let's go ahead and draw both knees in towards your chest. You can roll over onto the left side and support yourself to come back into a seat. Again, taking your time. And let's go ahead and switch sides. So keeping your right leg extended out in front of you, bring your left knee over the top of your right. It's called in yin yoga, it's called half shoelace pose. Yin yoga has slightly different names than our more yang type practices. So best you can, walking the left foot over to the right. And again, feeling your feet relax here. You notice if you need to sit on a blanket to support your inner back to be in its natural inward curve. And as you're ready, begin to fold over your legs. Now using the props, you can stack your blanket or your blanket and your block for your forehead to rest on. Otherwise, if that is still too out of reach, you can stay upright. Closing your eyes and keeping that awareness of the fullness in that mid part of your torso as you fold. So we're stimulating the lines associated here with actually the gallbladder running through the back of the leg and the outer left leg. They're stimulating meridians associated with the liver, while at the same time maintaining the fullness in the part of our bodies where the liver resides. Coming into that cool breath whenever you need it. If you feel any waves of agitation, anger, frustration, any hot emotions are said to be correlated with liver. When liver is stressed, out of balance. So countering that again with the slow, still shapes and the cooling breath. Now let's come into 3 more rounds of breath. And after that third exhale, whenever it goes, you can walk your palms back up. And then release your left leg and make your way again onto your back. And as you're ready, go ahead and stack your left ankle over the top of your right knee. Figure 4 pose. And as you draw your legs in, again, interlace either over the top of the shin or underneath the thigh. Feeling your right foot completely relaxed, the interlace of your fingers supple, and giving yourself a body scan, gauging for any areas of tension that you could work to release with your awareness and breath. Feeling the muscles of the face soften, spreading of the eyebrows, the softening of the eyes in their sockets. As if your face were sleeping. And if you ever feel a pinch of tightness or stagnation, any kind of blocks in any of these shapes, you can work to kind of unblock those areas with gentle rocking, with visualization of release on the out breath. And all of these inner practices are associated with balance of the liver. So identifying stagnations, blocks, and supporting the cleansing and the destagnation process. When you feel that you have the ability, just drop into that place of stillness. No matter what's happening around you, See if you can access that stillness inside. So it's said that the root of anger is not getting what we want. So see if you can pick a very, very small thing, a very small, simple thing, and accept the things that you cannot change as a way to soften the anger response. Take 3 more rounds of breath here. And after that third breath, whenever it comes and goes, you can place your right foot on the floor. Draw your left knee in towards your chest. Now, as you extend your left leg up and draw your right leg down and forward, and see if you need the strap around the ball of the foot. If you did on the other side, it's a good idea to use it on the other side too. Making sure that your right foot is kind of flopping or releasing out to the left. You may find it just a good kind of fulfilling sensation to draw the leg in for a moment. Just giving yourself that big stretch through the backside of your left leg. And then when you're ready, begin to make that journey into your twist, slowly drawing the leg out to the right. Now you may notice that at some point along the way, you get a big sensation through the outer left leg. And you can stay there for a few breaths if you'd like. And then when you feel like that tension has released a bit, then you can continue your journey of sending the right leg or the left leg over to the right. And either choosing to bring your left arm all the way out to the left, or bringing the left hand on the top of your left kind of mid torso. Closing your eyes, they're not already. And visualizing that on every inhale, there can be a full expansion through that big right side of your liver. And as you exhale, that smaller left side of your liver releases into your left mid back. So there's a full inflation and expansion on the left middle torso. And exhale down and out through the left side. So massaging open on the right and releasing out on the left. Continuously practicing releasing what you have no control over as a way to remedy the anger. And again, utilizing the coolness of your breath whenever you need to create that equanimity again. We'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here. After that third breath, extend your left leg back up. And take a moment to draw the leg towards you. And then release your leg down for, again, a moment of Shavasana, bringing your arms to the side. Feeling the coolness of the floor beneath your body, the coolness of the air touching your skin, and the coolness of your breath moving in. As you're ready, bring the soles of the feet together so your knees lay out to the sides for Supta Baddha Konasana. If your knees are quite high here, you may want to slide some props underneath the outer thighs. So blocks, or if you have a few blankets, you can bring them underneath the thighs. Remember that yin postures are, it's encouraged in yin postures to only go about 60% of your full range. So it is beneficial, even if you can go all the way down, to bring some props underneath to give just a little bit of lift. You can bring your hands on your torso here. Just one on kind of your upper torso and one more down towards your navel. I'm just noticing that these practices of stillness and pause, where we can simply notice our emotional state, any blockages, they're not to bypass those feelings, but rather to come into full acknowledgement of them. So that when we come to the time of action, where we can mobilize and we have the ability to act, that we can make choices that are in service to our healthy emotional state. Feeling supported, feeling nourished, feeling safe. And we can only know where we're going when we know where we are. Taking 3 breaths here, breathing into the fullness of your belly, softening into your mid-back as you exhale. And then when you're ready, you can draw your knees in, roll over onto one side, and come all the way up. Come to a few brief postures of wide knee child's pose to start. As you come up, draw your knees as wide as your mat. Big toes touch. And as you extend your torso forward and down, feel that your belly can soften and suspend downward between your thighs. So there's a wide open space through your belly, through the base of your sternum where your front ribs meet. Let's just take 3 full breaths here. And after your third breath, look forward and you can come into tabletop. So you're on your hands and knees. And then draw your left knee forward and it's towards your left wrist. And as you tuck your right toes, walk your right knee back. You're kind of walking yourself back into pigeon pose. Your left knee is forward and your right leg is back. As you lift up through your spine, feel that full open space in that part of your body where your liver lives. Open belly, inhale, and then keep that space nice and open as you fold. And we'll take 5 full rounds of breath here. Taking your time as you move through your breath. Now, after your 5th breath, whenever that happens, depending on the length of your breath, walk your hands back onto the floor. And you'll come onto your right knee. So you'll just draw your right knee in a little bit and come back to tabletop. And as you come back to tabletop, prepare for the other side. So again, there's no rush in this process. Taking your time to, on this side, draw your right knee forward. And as you tuck your left toes, walk your left leg back behind you. And dropping the top of your left foot down. And again, inhale, spread open through the front of your torso. And exhale, keeping that length as you fold downward. Once you release down, take 5 full rounds of breath. After your 5th breath, you'll walk your palms back. Walk your left knee in towards your right leg just a little bit so you can come to your hands and knees once more. Now, for our final pose, Shavasana, you can choose one of 2 postures. You can lay all the way back for Shavasana, or if you'd like to stay upright, you can come to a meditative seat. So choose the transition pose that feels most resonant with what you're needing right now. So either Shavasana lying all the way down on your back or coming to a meditative seat. So as you come into whatever final transition pose you'd like to come into, just spend about 2 minutes completely silent, completely dropped in. So I'll give you a few moments just to settle. And once you find that place where your body can become still, see if you can allow your mind to meet the stillness of your body. Just drop right in, and we'll be here all together, dropping into that place of stillness. Wherever you are, begin to bring your awareness back to your breathing. Feeling the fullness of your breath move in and the release of your breath as you exhale. Just allowing your body to move again in whatever ways feel good. So that we can all meet back in a comfortable seat and taking your time so we can move into our breathing practice. As you come to your seat, make sure that it's comfortable, that you can stay in it for some time. We'll move into Ujjayi. So Ujjayi is considered the foundational breath of yoga, one that's often calls upon when we're in more vinyasa style practices. So we'll just break it down and come into a few moments of fully practicing. So Ujjayi pranayama is a practice that kind of originates in the throat. So we can begin by starting to breathe in and out of our mouth with our mouth open, as if we were fogging up a mirror. So keeping your mouth open, breathing in and out of your mouth, and feeling that audible breath, again, as if you were fogging up a mirror. You'll probably feel a coolness in your throat. And now keep that same effect of in and out breathing through your mouth, but just close your lips. So there's still an audible breath. And this breath is also called the oceanic breath. So see if even with everything going on around you, if you can stay tuned into that oceanic audible breath originating at your throat. And this breath is also called the triumphant breath. So it has a rejuvenating quality to it, even as it supports a sense of calm and coolness to wash through the body. So just practice this for a few more rounds of breath. Cool, audible, oceanic breath. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath. Now slowly release the practice so you come back to a natural way of breathing. Let your body move a little bit. You can stretch out through your sides, coming into a moment of transition from a breath focused seat into our meditative practice. So the meditative practice we'll be working with today helps us to visualize the meridians that are correlated with the liver in a downward flowing motion. And this is a meditation I personally find very effective during the PMS time, where it's said that the liver could be overactivated and there can be feelings of agitation. But if you don't have a PMS time, or you're just in times of excess agitation, you're needing that calm, this is a really helpful meditation for that. So where we'll be visualizing is from the mid-breast, running down the front torso, through the front groin, down the inner legs, down the inner feet, and towards the big toe. So you can take a moment and just bring your hands to that point, starting with the front of the breast and just moving down the sides of the torso, into the groin, down the inner legs, and through to the inner big toe. Just do that about 2 more times. This is the energy line that we're going to be tracing with our mind's eye. Okay, so once you have that a few times, you can let your palms rest on your thighs. Close your eyes. Take a full breath in and out. And now take an inhale and visualize that top part of this line by your breath. And as you exhale, move your awareness down those lines, torso, inner legs, out the inner big toe. And again, feeling the fullness of your inhale, originate the breath towards the center of each breath. And as you exhale, moving down the sides of the torso, inner legs, inner big toe. And just keep moving like that for the next few rounds of breath, starting the center of each breath, feeling your fullness. And as you exhale, running down those lines, running parallel through the inner legs, down to the inner toes. Steadying the breathing so that the visual is not rushed and it's matching the lengthy breath. Let's just take 3 more rounds of breath, just like this. And after your third, whenever that releases, just again, come back to your natural breathing. Just noticing whatever you're feeling, whatever your inner experience is, just taking note. Let us go ahead and close our practice today. You can start by bringing your hands together in front of your heart as a gesture of self meeting self. Just giving yourself a moment to be in gratitude for yourself, for being here, for showing up for yourself. Anything or anyone that supported you to get here this morning. And also your unfolding process of your own unique journey of connection and wholeness. You can lower your chin a little bit as a gesture of bowing into yourself to anything that you're expressing in your heart right now. And when you're ready, you can slowly lift your chin, gently open your eyes. Thank you so much, everybody.